When I asked about the date of the baby's birth, my daughter-in-law said, "He arrived last night. Just for special people." A week later she called. "The hospital bill is overdue. Did you pay it?" I replied, "Didn't I tell you?" The first scream isn't a sound, it's a text tone. I've got one hand in a drawer of tiny socks and the other balancing my phone on the windowsill, and there it is, the chirp I assigned to family. The air in the bedroom is heavy with the Florida evening, sticky, salt-sweet, the ceiling fan ticking like a weak metronome. My thumb smears a damp line on the screen as I swipe to FaceTime. Megan's face pops up in the little rectangle, close, flushed, glossy with a kind of half-laugh I don't recognize. "When's the baby due?" I ask her, because the question has gentled every conversation for months. When, not if, not how are you feeling, just when, so I can mark a date on a calendar and bake a casserole like every other mother in this neighborhood. She glances off-screen. I hear a door sigh shut, a shoe squeak, that antiseptic hush you only get in hospital hallways or hotel lobbies at midnight. "He arrived last night," she says, eyes back on me. "Just for special people." For a second I don't process the words. The fan ticks. The humid air presses against my forearms. A tiny sock slips from my fingers to the carpet. "What?" I said, "Last night." She adds a little laugh, like it's a surprise party and I should be clapping. "We're both fine." "We?" My voice lands wrong, too bright, too sharp. "Where are you, Meg?" Megan's camera lurches, white ceiling tiles, a fluorescent tube, a corner of a motivational poster about new beginnings. She lowers her voice. "I have to go. They're checking vitals." "Where's Ryan?" It comes out before I can stop it. "He's around. I'll call you." She gives me a quick smile that doesn't touch her eyes. The screen goes black. The room is suddenly very loud, the fan, the crickets outside, a distant car bass thudding down our street. My house smells like laundry and lemon cleaner and the ocean that sneaks in even with the windows shut. On the bed, I've laid out the quilt my mother stitched in 1978, soft as breath now, a mobile with felt sea turtles, a stack of burp cloths tied with twine like gifts. I pick up the sock from the carpet and sit, and the bed sighs under me. "Last night," I say to the empty room. As if the baby slipped in like a late summer thunderstorm while I was refilling the bird feeder and listening to the evening news. I picture Megan in a white room, a tiny face tucked in the crook of her elbow, and then, because I can't stop myself, I picture her alone. I open messages, start to type what hospital, sweetheart? And delete it. Start again, do you need anything? Delete. I settle on a heart and a praying hands emoji, which looks ridiculous and helpless and is exactly how I feel. The front door clicks. "Mom?" Ryan's voice moves through the hallway, warm and distracted. He smells like cut grass and sunscreen and the stale beer I pretend not to notice. He finds me in the spare bedroom and leans on the doorframe, hair damp, golf shirt untucked, a small smear of dirt on his cheek like a boy. "You heard?" I blurt. "Heard what?" "Megan. She said the baby came last night." The words taste strange. Last night. Like a thing you lost under the couch and found in the morning. He blinks, the smile sliding off. "What?" She FaceTimed me from somewhere. It looked like a hospital. "Why didn't you call me?" He rakes a hand through his hair. "I've been at the range all morning, my phone must've." He digs in his pocket and shows me the black slab, dead screen. "I forgot to charge it." My chest tightens. "Ryan." "I'll call her." He's already backing into the hall, thumbing at the side button. "It's fine, Mom." After he disappears, I stand in the doorway of the nursery that isn't one yet and listen to the familiar house sounds, the air conditioner kicking on, the old pipes sighing, the rhythmic tick of the fan like a nervous heart. On the dresser, I've lined up a row of baby lotion bottles, one unscented, one lavender, one hypoallergenic because the internet scared me. I think about whether lavender is too much for a newborn. I think about how I didn't know, and the thought feels like a small paper cut I keep pressing. By the time I make it to the kitchen, my phone pings again, a group text from the neighborhood ladies, photo of a bundt cake, perfect glaze. For the big day, someone writes. What flavor, Elaine? I stare at the screen and type, lemon, and add a smile that feels stiff. The afternoon presses itself against the windows, a flat bright heat that bleaches everything. I fill a glass with ice, crack, 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 and pour tea that sweats down the sides. The cold stings my teeth. The house phone rings then, the old landline I keep for hurricanes and habit. I let it go to voicemail and listen to my own recorded voice from 5 years ago, cheerful, a little too high, asking whoever it is to leave a message. A pause. A click. No message. When Ryan comes back, his face is closed. She's fine, he says. They're both fine. Where? I ask again. She didn't say. She'll text. She had the baby last night and didn't tell me. Or you. My hands are careful on the sweating glass, as if the tea might explode. She said it was fast. He shrugs too big, like a boy trying to make himself a man. No time to call. No time to call? I repeat, and I hear the edge under my voice and hate it. Ryan. Mom. He kisses the top of my head like he's the one soothing me. His mouth tastes like mint gum and old beer. It's okay. He disappears into the garage to rummage for something, tools, a cooler, I don't know. The garage yawns, hot air spilling into the kitchen. I stand in the doorway and watch dust float in the sun like lazy snow. On the counter, a stack of mail leans against the basket with the scissors and the tape. I slice through envelopes with the practiced flick of a finger, charity flyer, cable bill, a glossy brochure for a retirement community with a pool shaped like a kidney bean. At the bottom, an unfamiliar logo, clean sans serif font, bright white paper. I slide a nail under the flap. Congratulations on your recent delivery, the first line reads. My vision narrows to a tunnel. Below, patient, Megan Harrington. Facility, Bayshore Birthing Center. A polite paragraph about insurance processing, a list of procedural codes that look like spare parts, a balance due that makes my mouth go dry. Mom? Ryan calls from the garage, his voice muffled. Where's the drill? Second shelf, I manage. My heart is tapping against my ribs like it wants out. I carry the paper to the dining table because the dining table is where serious things happen, taxes, school forms, the time we sat here and decided to sell your father's boat. The wood is cool under my palms. The birthing center's letterhead is a watery blue that wants to be calming. The number, 28,000, sits in bold near the bottom, smirking. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Call me when you get this. Then, it's Megan. She adds a baby emoji, and for a moment all my irritation derails into a flash of something soft, helpless, blue-hatted and wrinkled and perfect. I call. It goes straight to voicemail. I text, we got a letter. Are you home? Do you need anything? The bubbles never appear. Outside, thunder grumbles like an old man clearing his throat. The first smatter of rain dots the patio, dark circles expanding on the concrete. The world smells momentarily alive, wet earth, sea salt, the metallic tang that rides a storm. I open the slider to let the smell in and the humidity slaps my cheeks like a damp hand. Palms shiver. The wind bell clacks against the stucco. By dinner, the rain is a steady percussion. I heat leftover chicken and rice, the microwaves hum a flat little song. Ryan eats standing up at the kitchen island, forking food into his mouth like he's refueling a machine. His phone lights his face in ghosty blue. Every time it vibrates, my body prepares for a catastrophe. Did she say anything else? I ask. He swallows, glances at his screen. Just that they're resting. You're sure she's at Bayshore? The letter. He frowns. Letter? I push it across the island. He scans it, jaw tightening, then shrugs one shoulder. Insurance will handle it. It says balance due upon receipt. Then he sets his fork down too hard, rice scattering. Mom, can we not? He scrubs his hands over his face. It's been a day. He's tired. I see it, the crescent moons under his eyes, the way his shoulders curl in like he's trying to keep his heart from spilling out. I swallow my next 5 questions. After he goes to bed, I load the dishwasher slowly, touching each plate like a prayer. The storm moves off toward the bay, the thunder farther, the rain thinning to a whisper. The house settles into its night noises, the AC, the tick of the cooling oven, the occasional pop in the wall that means nothing and everything. In the spare room, I turn on the lamp and watch the warm circle of light lie down on the quilt. I pull the mobile string and the felt turtles drift, green and patient, swimming nowhere. I imagine a tiny fist batting at them, a soft mouth rooting burp cloth to shoulder, the small animal heat of a new body against my chest. My throat tightens. I sit on the edge of the bed and try to pray, but my mind is a JPEG that won't load, blur, stutter, buffer. The phone chirps again, my family tone, the one that sounds different enough to make my heart leap even when I'm asleep. I snatch it up. Thank you for your payment, the message reads. It's from the Bayshore Birthing Center. A confirmation number. A link to view the receipt. I stare so hard my eyes burn. A tiny drop of sweat runs down my spine. Somewhere in the house, water ticks in the pipes like a clock. I read it again. Thank you for your payment. I didn't pay anything. A second later, another text pops in, Megan, this time. The hospital bill is overdue, she writes. Did you pay it? The fan ticks out 4 slow beats. The turtles turn. My thumb hovers over the screen, and everything in me goes very, very still. The line clicks and her breath is in my ear before the ringtone can finish. So? Did you pay it? Her voice is thready and urgent, like she's running down a hallway. I'm still staring at the text that thanked me for a payment I never made. The turtles on the nursery mobile circle slowly, a calm I don't trust. Megan, I say, walking fast to the kitchen because I need a table under my hands. What bill are we talking about? The hospital, she snaps. They said it's overdue. You got the letter. Elaine, please, did you pay it? I didn't. I pull the Bayshore paper from the basket and flatten it with my palm. A corner curls back like a tongue. I received a receipt just now, but I didn't. Then who did? I hear the hiss of air through her teeth, the wet click of a door, that antiseptic hush again. They're threatening collections. If this goes to collections, it hits our credit. We can't buy the house we talked about. We can't, her voice breaks and rebuilds itself. Just tell me you took care of it. Where are you? I say quietly. A beat. With the baby. Where? I repeat. I want to say, give me the room number and I'll bring soup, but the words tangle with something harder. She exhales. You don't understand the pressure I'm under. Then help me understand. I soften my voice. Are you at Bayshore? Silence. Then a quick, brittle laugh. You think I'm lying? I think you're exhausted, I say, because I can feel the edge in me, too, and edges make us both bleed. I think. A muffled voice near her, male, low, a question I can't make out. Megan's hand over the mic, a whisper, a shuffle. When she comes back, the sweetness is back, too sweet. It's handled, she says. Just, stay out of the paperwork, okay? She hangs up before I can say her name. The kitchen seems to tilt. The hum of the fridge is suddenly a roar. I set the phone down and it ping-pongs on the quartz, a nervous little dance. I call the number on the Bayshore letter. A woman answers, voice like vanilla frosting. Bayshore Birthing Center, how may I direct your call? I'm calling about a billing error, I say. For my daughter-in-law. Megan Harrington. One moment, ma'am. Keyboard clatter, the faint echo of other phones. Do you have the statement number? I read it off. The woman hums, clicks, hums again. I see the file. Yes, there was a partial payment posted this afternoon. A cold ribbon threads my spine. From whom? I'm not authorized to disclose payer information without patient consent. I'm the responsible party listed on the envelope. That's a mailing contact, she says, bright but impenetrable. Would you like to make a payment now? The audacity of the question makes me laugh, and it's not a nice sound. No, I say. I would like to verify where the patient delivered. Ma'am. The truth matters, I say, and my voice surprises me by shaking. We're family. I'm trying to help. All I can tell you, she recites, is that the balance on the account is $28,000, with a partial payment today of. I hang up because if I hear the number again my heart might actually climb out of my mouth and run around the room. My finger shakes when I set the receiver down on the counter cradle I've had since 2003. The front door opens. Ryan steps in with the storm behind him, wet hair, wet shirt, that sharp ozone smell as storm leaves on skin. He freezes when he sees my face. What happened? Megan called, I say. She wanted to know if I paid the bill. He exhales through his nose. Of course she did. Of course? She's stressed. He toes off his soaked sneakers by the mat, the rubber squeal loud. Everyone's stressed. We can't solve strangers on the phone telling me to pay $28,000. They will bill insurance. They thanked me for a payment I never made. He looks at me like I've started speaking German. Then it went through on a card saved on file. Mom, don't spiral. I'm not spiraling, I say, spiraling. I'm trying to understand where my grandchild is and why no one told me until afterward and why I'm getting receipts. He scrubs rain from his face with a kitchen towel. She said she'd call you tomorrow. Tomorrow, I echo, as if tomorrow is a medication you can swallow and be fine by morning. He slings an arm around my shoulders, brief and awkward, like we're strangers at a funeral. Hey, he says softly. You're not alone in this. I nod as if I believe him. On Sunday, the house smells like tomato sauce and fresh basil and the faint ghost of bleach from the morning floors. I lay the table like I'm setting an argument with silverware, forks straight, glasses gleaming, napkins folded the way my mother taught me. The storm has dried into a bright, brittle heat that makes the windows hum. Ryan arrives first, clean-shaven, eyes shadowed. Kyle follows, knocking once and stepping in with his easy grin before I answer the door. He has a way of carrying his body like the room belongs to him, like most rules are jokes. The sun hits his sunglasses and throws a flash of white across my foyer. Smells amazing, Mrs. H. He crosses the kitchen and pecks my cheek. He's wearing a golf shirt the color of a lime, and there's a split second where the detergent on his clothes smells familiar, my detergent, and my stomach drops. Where's Megan? I ask. On her way, Ryan says, checking his phone. Kyle leans on the counter, considers a slice of baguette. His arms are tan, the pale band of a missing watch on his wrist like a confession. New dad, he says, winking at Ryan. How's it feel, man? Ryan smiles, small and tired. Like no sleep and no clue. Welcome to the club, Kyle says easily, and I feel my face arrange itself into a smile that is not a smile. When Megan arrives, she looks perfect. Not perfect like airbrushed, perfect like curated for an audience. Loose dress, hair glossy, a sheen of something on her cheeks that makes her look dewy. She moves carefully, the way new mothers move when they're pretending they don't hurt. She sets a monogrammed blanket on the back of a chair and my brain takes a picture, pale blue, soft knit, and navy border, 3 letters looping in a braid. They are not our letters. Is that new? I ask, reaching to touch. A gift, she says quickly, lifting it away. From a friend. Kyle's gaze licks over the blanket and skitters away. Ryan doesn't seem to notice. He's busy dimming the lights and pouring iced tea and making a show of normal. We eat. Forks ring against plates. I ask the bland questions. How's the baby sleeping? How are you feeling? Do you need anything from Publix? Megan's answers are practiced. Kyle chimes in with jokes. Ryan keeps refilling everyone's glass as though hydration can fix a fracture. When Megan excuses herself to take a call, I follow to the hall to get more napkins, which I don't need. She's whispering into her phone, voice pitched low. I told you, I can't talk now. A pause. No, it's fine. He's with me. Another pause. I said I'll handle it. I return to the kitchen and find Kyle by the sink with the blanket. He's not looking at it, he's smelling it, the way people do with newborn things, eyes half closed. When he registers me watching, he drops it fast, the way a teenager drops a cigarette. Cute, isn't it? He says, too loud. Very, I say. My heart is a small hammer. Megan returns with a smile stapled to her face. Everything okay? I ask. Peachy, she says brightly, and grabs the blanket like it's evidence. Later, when I'm packing leftovers, she leans too close and whispers near my ear, sugar over steel. Please stop calling the birthing center. You're making things harder. I called once, I say. Don't, she says, smile wide for the room. It's under control. The words under control have never calmed me in my entire life. After they leave, Kyle first, then Megan and Ryan with a flurry of thanks and take-home containers, I stand at the sink and scrub a pan that is already clean. The window over the sink shows the yard in black glass, my reflection floating like a ghost. The house is suddenly enormous and hollow, a seashell held to my ear. I wipe the counters until they squeak. I fold the dish towel. I pull it straight and fold it again. It feels like if I can make one corner match the other, something in my life will also align. The doorbell rings. No one rings my bell on a Sunday night unless they're selling something or the world is ending. I wipe my hands on my jeans and open the door onto moths dancing in porch light and the smell of wet grass the sprinklers left behind. No one stands there. Just a small padded mailer leaning against the welcome mat, anonymously beige, my name written in blocky print that could belong to a teenager or a machine. I pick it up. It weighs almost nothing. The adhesive gives with a cheap tear. Inside, a white box the size of a paperback, clean and clinical, with a teal stripe and a promise of simple answers in a font that tries not to be threatening. A DNA test kit. There's a sticky note stuck to the top. The ink has bled a little, like the writer pressed too hard or had sweaty hands. 4 words. You deserve to know. We don't have a patient by that name. The receptionist smiles when she says it, the kind of smile that could slice a tomato. The birthing center lobby smells like lavender and printer ink. My palms stick to the vinyl armrest of a plastic chair the color of toothpaste. Behind the counter, a framed watercolor of a wave tilts a degree to the left, as if even the art is trying to slide away from me. I set my purse on my lap like a shield. Could you check again? My voice is sandpapered smooth. Harrington. Megan. Her acrylics tick-tick across the keyboard. She glances at me, lashes heavy with mascara, the reflection of her screen flickering green in her eyes. If you're not listed, we can't disclose anything. I'm not asking for the secrets of Fort Knox, I say. I'm asking if a human being delivered a baby here. I understand, she says, which is a lie, then repeats the part about disclosure in a tone that's laminated. The AC breathes hard overhead. A new mother inches past with a bundle tucked to her chest. The infants have the soft blue of sky right before dusk. Something in my chest goes liquid and hot. I raise my phone and pretend to text so I can tap the little red button in voice memos. The tiny waveform begins to crawl across the screen. The receptionist's keyboard clacks, a metronome for my heart. May I leave a message for the nurse manager? I ask. You can call back after 2, she says, sliding a trifle brochure across the counter as if that's what I came for. Our philosophy of care. Your philosophy of care, I repeat, pocketing the brochure, seems to be make grandmothers cry in public. Ma'am. Warning now. The kind of tone teachers use when a child is about to throw a crayon. Thank you for your help, I say, because the older I get the more those words taste like defeat. Outside, the Florida noon slaps my face. Heat bounces off the hood of my car and into my bones. The parking lot smells like hot rubber and fried food from a truck idling by the curb. I slide behind the wheel and choke on the Madeline of memories that is hospital parking lots, your father's last day, my grandson's first, how both can be true in the same life. My phone buzzes. Patty. A bubble with her face, sunglasses crooked, lipstick too red, cheeks up like the moon. I answer on speaker and drive one-handed toward the coastal road, the bay throwing small diamonds off the surface. Did you go? She asks. Went, I say. Got a brochure and a migraine. On a scale of 1 to calling a lawyer? I'm at eat a pie in the car and don't tell anyone. She laughs, then softens. Come to book club tonight. Even if you don't read the book. Especially if you didn't read the book. I read the first 3 pages, I say. A woman buys a house and cries about tile. Perfect. Bring wine. At a red light I open the brochure and stare at the script font. Gentle births. Family-centered. A photograph of a woman in a white dress holding a baby in a field at golden hour, which I suppose is their way of saying there will be no fluorescent lights or invoices. I slip the brochure into the glove compartment and it catches on a pile of old registration forms and a coil of napkins. By the time evening slides down the street, Patty's living room smells like butter and cinnamon. A dozen women I've known for years perch on sofas and dining chairs dragged in from the kitchen, paperback copies cupped in palms like birds. Someone's dog weaves between ankles, sighing dramatically. The ceiling fan hums. The ice melts in glasses with a satisfying shiver. I tell the story the way you tell a dream you're not sure you want to be true, lightly, skipping the parts that might make me cry. Megan's voice on the phone. The letter. The receptionist. The brochure. Not the DNA kit in my pantry cabinet next to the pasta. No, some things are too fragile to set on a table with a plate of brownies. Patty's brow knits. Do not go to war with a birthing center, she says, wagging a carrot stick at me. You'll lose to a scented candle. I'm not at war, I say, and hear the way my voice tightens. I'm at clarity. Or trying. Lola, who keeps a file folder for everything including vacations, leans forward. You could get a HIPAA release. Megan can sign so you can ask questions. She won't, I say, too fast. Have you asked? Patty says gently. I think of Megan's smile, the way it tightens when she lies. The way she whispered, stay out of the paperwork. Not in so many words. Use so many words, Patty says. Use all the words. Tell her you love her, you love the baby, and you need to understand what's happening. People don't tell the truth because you make them a cup of tea, says Lola. People tell the truth when they feel the floor tilt. I don't want anyone to fall, I say. I want to hold him. That's all. I want to hold him and be told I'm not crazy for wanting to know where he was born. Patty slides her hand over mine, warm and steady. You're not crazy, she says. You're a grandmother. We do not discuss the kit. I hear the tiny box calling to me from home, its promise of answers, its indifferent science. I picture swabs and vials and barcodes. I picture consequences. On my way out, Patty puts a Tupperware in my hand like a talisman. Lasagna, she says. For the day you need something heavy and certain. Thank you, I say, and we both pretend I mean the pasta. Back home, the house feels too careful. I set the lasagna in the fridge like I'm placing a relic in a museum case. I rinse my wine glass even though it's already clean and set it upside down on the mat. The sound of distant thunder, just far enough to feel like a rumor, throbs at the edge of my hearing. The AC exhales. Somewhere, a neighbor's wind chimes count the breeze. I take the kit from the pantry and place it on the counter. The box is so white it seems to glow. Simple answers, the stripe assures me again. I pry the lid open with my thumbnail and the cardboard size. Inside, instructions folded like origami, sterile swabs and plastic sleeves, a small return envelope with a pre-printed label. I touch each thing with one finger, gently, the way you might touch a sleeping cat. It could be so simple. A swab to a cheek. A stamp. A week. My phone buzzes. Ryan, we might stop by tomorrow after his checkup. A picture follows, a tiny hand, fingers curled like commas, gripping the edge of a baby blanket. The monogram peeks into view. The letters land in my chest like cold coins. I type, I'd love that, and add a heart because love should be the thing that arrives first. In bed, sleep comes like a door that won't quite close. I dream of sea turtles wandering a parking garage. I wake at 2 to the glow of my phone and scroll through pictures of babies that are not mine, given to me by women who knit and bake and hold me together. When I do sleep, it's a shallow, fidgeting thing. Morning brings sunshine brutal as truth. Ryan texts again, running late. No Megan. No we. Just a picture of a coffee cup and the dashboard clock. I brew my own and it tastes like cardboard, so I pour it out and start again, grinding beans slow, listening to the burr of the machine cut through the air. At 10, the knock is soft and quick, as if whoever's there wants plausible deniability. I open the door to an empty porch. The air smells like fresh-cut grass and chlorine from someone's pool. On the mat, another envelope. Not padded this time. Thin. My name in neat blue ink. My stomach dips and turns. I bring it to the dining table and slide my finger under the glue. Inside, a single item slips onto the wood and stops against the little scratch only I ever notice. A hospital wristband. Clear plastic, the paper insert slightly wrinkled. The adhesive still sticky along one edge, catching on my skin. The infant name line is filled in black block letters. The surname is not ours. I go very still, the way you do when a glass starts to fall and your body tries to stop time. The house seems to lean forward with me. The AC pauses between breaths. My phone vibrates on the table, Ryan, maybe, or Megan, or a robocall offering to extend the warranty on a car I no longer own. The wristband gleams in the kitchen light, innocent and damning. I press my thumb to the plastic and feel the faint ridges. I don't realize I've started to record until I hear my own breath in the speaker, soft and stunned. Outside, somewhere close, a baby cries, a high, thin wail, and the sound lifts the hairs on my arms as if the whole neighborhood knows a story I don't. The doorbell rings again. I yank the door open and the baby's cry hits me like heat. Ryan is on the step with a car seat crooked on his forearm, his hair damp, shirt wrinkled, eyes salt-burned and pink. Megan hovers a half step behind him, a hospital bracelet still ghosting her wrist like a pale ring. The porch smells like wet grass and that sharp, clean hospital scent I can never place, soap, plastic, fear. Can we come in? Ryan's voice is raw. I step back. The AC spills over us as they cross the threshold. Megan doesn't look at me. She looks past me, into the house, scanning like she's checking exits. Hey, I whisper to the tiny face under the hood. The baby's mouth is an O, his gums the faintest coral, his cry thin as fishing line. Hey there, hi, okay. My fingers shake when I unclip the buckle. His skin is new peach warm. He smells like milk, like powder, like rain on cotton. He quiets against the crook of my arm the way a storm sometimes just lowers its voice. Sorry for dropping in, Ryan says, already moving toward the kitchen, setting the diaper bag down with a thud that says he's done carrying things. We have 10 minutes, Megan says, finally meeting my eyes. Her lashes clump with tiredness. Then we have to go. 10 minutes? I can't help it. Are you fugitives? Check up, Ryan says quickly. He opens the fridge like he lives here and chugs water straight from the bottle. Pediatrician. First appointment? My voice comes out too bright. Second, Megan says, and the word lands like a stone. The baby roots against my shoulder. I sway without thinking, my hips remembering a dance I haven't done in decades. There's a milk dribble at the edge of his lip, silvery and shining. I reach for a cloth and feel the small, hard rectangle in my apron pocket, the thing I put there without letting myself name it. The swab. Can I? I lift the cloth toward his mouth. Careful, Megan murmurs, stepping closer. Her perfume is faintly sweet, a pair I can't afford. Up close, the hospital tape shadow on her wrist looks tender. He hates being messed with. It's just a wipe, I say softly, and dab the milk away, then, quick as a blink, touch the sterile cotton to the inside of his cheek. He startles, then calms, his breath a feather against my neck. My hands don't shake until I turn away. Ryan doesn't notice. He's pouring more water like his body forgot other verbs. Megan's eyes flick to the movement of my hand slipping the swab into the apron pocket again, then back to my face. Her smile is too wide. He likes you. I like him, I say. The truth, simple and stupid, like a small rock that could still break a window. The baby sighs a sound I feel in my bones. Ryan takes him back, and the bassinet strap squeaks, and the world becomes a series of small sounds trying to pretend they're not a drumbeat. Megan straightens the blanket in the car seat. The monogram flashes navy and precise. Not ours. Text me if you need anything, I say, because that's the script they hand you with a grandmother's badge. Anything at all. Megan kisses the air near my cheek. She stops, eyes flicking to Ryan. We'll talk later. They're gone as fast as they arrived, like a wave that slaps your shins and sucks away. I stand in the kitchen and feel the damp circle the car seat left on the counter. The house wraps silence around me. When I finally move, it's like walking underwater. I take the swab from my pocket, my fingers careful dirty, and seal it the way the instructions taught me, 2 clicks, label straight, barcode unwrinkled. The little return envelope has a gravitas it didn't earn. Outside, the air is the temperature of a held breath. Palms stir, their fronds clicking like old paper. I slide the envelope into my bag and drive to the blue mailbox near the pharmacy where they sell reading glasses and lottery tickets and hope. The metal is hot against my wrist. The flap drops with a hollow sound that feels like a promise and a dare. Waiting is the loudest thing I've ever done. The days stretch. The baby exists in my phone as a grid of pixels send in quick bursts, forehead, clenched hand, a sock like a pea. The collection's calls begin like gnats, annoying, dismissible, then turn into mosquitoes that draw blood. Past due. Final notice. Immediate attention required. I press the red end button until my thumb aches. Patty brings over plant cuttings and a pie she claims is store-bought but is not. No news is still news, she says, patting soil around a stem like she's tucking it in. It means your story hasn't ended yet. I nod. News crawls anyway. At the grocery store, a woman from church presses my forearm and says, "We saw the photos online," and her voice carries a question she pretends is a congratulations. At home, I fold tiny laundry that isn't mine out of habit, roll the socks, align the seams, place them on the shelf of a closet no one has agreed is a nursery. One afternoon, I find Ryan in my driveway staring at the hood of his car like it might tell him a secret. The sun heats the asphalt to a shimmer. His skin looks thin over his cheekbones. He says, "I'm fine," and the words rattle like dice. "Sleeping?" I ask. "Like a rock," he says, and laughs without laughter. Then, too quickly, "Mom, if you get any weird mail, just ignore it." "What kind of weird?" He blinks. "You know. Samples. Ads." "Ignore samples?" I say. His eyes scrape over my face like he's scanning for a lie. He hugs me hard, his heartbeat drumming against my chest, then leaves with the kind of wave that doesn't reach his shoulder. On the curb, my neighbor's recycling clinks a hollow applause. On the 7th morning, the mail sits in the box like a dare. Coupons, a glossy catalog, a windowed envelope with a logo I don't recognize and my name typed too confidently. I carry it inside and feel the sliver of plastic wristband in the drawer like a splinter in the kitchen's fingertip. I don't open the envelope standing up. I sit at the dining table where the wood is honest and the light is kind. The paper edge slices my thumb and bleeds just enough to remind me my body is not a spectator. I suck the sting and slide the pages out. The paper smells like toner and something metallic. There is a lot of language meant to be objective. There is a column meant to be read by a machine. There is a percentage printed in numbers so sure of themselves they might as well be carved into the table. Probability of paternity for alleged father, Ryan Harrington, 0%. Probability of paternity for reference sample, Kyle Dawson, 99.99%. For a beat, the room does a strange trick, the edges pull away, the middle deepens, like looking down from a high shelf into a bucket of dark water. Somewhere, a mower drones. The AC clicks on, runs, clicks off. A fly troubles the window glass with its idiot wings. My hand finds my phone. I don't remember telling it to. My finger dials Megan. The ring cuts the air into pieces. She answers on the third, voice pitched bright. Hey, Elaine. Perfect timing, I was. I need to see you, I say. It comes out too calmly. Alone. A pause so tiny you could hide a lie in it. I can swing by in 20. Not here, I say. The coffee place on Bayshore. The one with the blue umbrellas. She exhales. Okay. The cafe smells like espresso and baked sugar. The tables wobble a little. The barista wears a septum ring and writes names on cups in cursive that would make my old principal proud. I sit with my back to the door because if I see Megan walk in, I might stand up and leave. The table is sticky in one corner. I fold the results inside a manila folder like I'm old-fashioned and give it weight. She arrives right on time, breezing in with sunglasses still on, as if light is something she doesn't owe anyone. When she takes them off, her eyes are swollen at the rims. She kisses the air near my cheek. The motion releases a perfume note that feels like a lie dressed for brunch. Should we get muffins? She chirps. I feel like I haven't eaten a carb since. I slide the folder over the table. She stops. Her throat does a small swallow you wouldn't notice unless you were listening for it like a hunter. She doesn't touch the folder. She stares at it like it might hiss. What's that? She asks, softer. I think you know. Elaine, she says, the name a plea and a warning. She sits. The chair squeals. Her hands go flat on the table as if she's showing me she's unarmed. I love him, I say. My voice surprises me by cracking on the him. That's the headline. Okay, she whispers. I open the folder. The paper reflects the cafe light in a way that wants to be merciful. I lay my finger on the numbers without looking at them. We can talk about why later. Or not. But we can't talk around this. She's very still. Then, a tiny, brittle smile. Did you think I didn't know? I thought you hoped I wouldn't. Her eyes shine and then flood, sudden and hot. She swipes, angry at the tears for betraying her. I asked him to tell Ryan, she says. He said he would. He didn't. Then it was too late. Then there was a baby and a bill and 1,000 people with clipboards asking me how I was paying for my choices. You had choices, I say. I hate myself even as I say it. We all did. Her laugh is a scrape. You think this was a romance? She leans in. It was a moment that turned into a map I can't fold back up. The espresso machine hisses behind us, steam like a snake. A couple at the window laughs at something on a phone. A boy bikes past, hair winging under his helmet. The world continues, rude and faithful. Ryan will survive a truth, I say. He won't survive a lie that grows mold. She shakes her head. You don't know him like I do. I know he'll bleed either way. I touch the folder. But one kind of bleeding stops. For a long minute she just breathes. Then she says, very softly, if you tell him, I will take the baby and go so far you'll never hear his cry again. Ryan slams the front door so hard the wind chime bites the stucco and my picture frames rattle on the hall wall. Everybody sit, I say, though my voice is thinner than I want. The living room is already staged by habit, coasters on the coffee table, throw pillows fluffed, the TV on mute showing a quarterback in slow motion like a statue sliding across glass. Outside, thunder drums along the bay, low and mean. The beach print rug under our feet looks like a vacation that someone has set on fire. Kyle drops onto the couch like it's his. He spreads his knees, elbows on them, hands clasped, a man who has never had to ask permission for anything. He smells like citrus aftershave and a beer he had on the way over. Megan perches arm's length from him in the chair with the broken spring, one hand on her phone as if it's a lifeline. Ryan paces, back and forth, a dark track carving into the light. I stand because sitting feels like betraying my own spine. The folder is on the coffee table. I place my palm on it as if I'm swearing something in a court I didn't ask to enter. Before anything, I say, I love you. All of you don't deserve it equally tonight, but that's not how love works. Ryan stops. Mom, he says, the word a warning. Megan lifts her chin. Don't do this. Kyle scratches his cheek and looks bored. Do what? Tell the truth, I say, and slide the folder toward Ryan. Mom, he repeats, gentler, like maybe I've wandered into traffic. What is this? Answers, I say. On paper. Kyle doesn't touch the folder, but his whole body goes still the way animals do before they bolt. Megan's phone vibrates on her knee and she grips it so hard her knuckles blanch. Ryan opens the folder. His eyes flick across numbers like a skim turned into a drowning. When he looks up, he is not my boy, he is a man with his mouth open around a fact that won't fit. What is this? He asks again, but he's not looking at me now. It's garbage, Kyle says. A short laugh that shows teeth. What is this, Ancestry.com? You got some website to tell you a story? It's a lab, I say, and I hate how small the word sounds in the big room. And it's not a story. Megan's breath snags. Ryan. Don't. He holds up a hand. Don't say my name like that. Kyle stands, posture loose, hands up like he's walking the edge of a joke. Look, man. You know how this stuff can be. Samples get mixed. I mean, where did she even get? I turn, and my voice is steady the way a knife is steady. From your son's mouth. Silence lands so loud it knocks something off the mantle in my heart. The TV shows a referee's flag floating down in slow motion, a yellow petal in a storm. Megan's face crumples like paper. She covers it with her hand. I tried, she says through her fingers. I told you to tell him. Kyle's jaw clicks. Not like this. Not in her house, like church. He jabs a finger at me, and my skin remembers being pointed at by boys in high school who didn't like my grades. Who do you think you are? His mother, I say, and every syllable has weight. Ryan looks from one to the other, then at me, then back. Is it true? He says, and the way he says it makes the air thinner. Megan. She removes her hand from her face like she's peeling herself. I didn't mean, she shakes her head. There isn't a sentence that starts with I didn't mean that ends well. Say yes or no, he says. His voice isn't loud, but it makes Kyle step back. Yes, she whispers, the sound a stitch breaking. Yes. Something in Ryan folds up and something else stands in its place. How long? Megan opens and closes her mouth. Kyle blows air out his nose like this is an inconvenience at a bar. It was a stupid thing, he says. It was what do they call it, an incident. Stop, Megan says. An incident? Ryan repeats. A fender bender is an incident, Kyle. A dropped phone. He doesn't finish. Words jam in him like a drawer swollen in summer. Thunder rolls closer. The house lights flicker, little prayers. In the kitchen, the refrigerator motor clicks on like it's cheering for someone. I paid part of the bill, Kyle says suddenly, bravado leaking. Okay? Are we done? I'll handle the rest. Ryan's laugh is a raw scrape. You'll handle it. Somebody has to, Kyle mutters. He doesn't look at me when he says it, which is how you know he means it to hurt me. Get out, Ryan says, so softly I almost miss it. Kyle snorts. Don't be dramatic. Get out. My son's hands are open at his sides like he might lift a car to free a child. I see his father in him in a way that makes my teeth ache with the memory. Kyle lifts his palms higher. Okay, okay. He flicks a glance at Megan. It's small, but not small enough. You coming? The two words detonate. Megan flinches. Ryan sees it. He goes very still. He looks at her like she is a map and he is realizing she has never led anywhere he meant to go. You asked him that here, he says, and his voice is almost wonder. He swallows. In front of my mother? Kyle shrugs, whether yes or to loosen his conscience. Text me, he says to Megan, and that is the ignition. Ryan moves like he might punch and then doesn't, which is worse. He points to the door. Kyle goes, swagger draining by degrees with each step. The door opens onto thick heat and the smell of wet asphalt. The chime bites the stucco again when it bangs shut. The three of us are left like survivors who don't yet know what they have survived. Megan wipes under her eyes and it leaves black on her fingers. She looks very young and very old. I'm sorry, she says, a whisper you could fold into your pocket and carry forever, and it would still not purchase anything you need. Why? Ryan asks. Not a question. A howl drawn into a word. Why him? She shakes her head. Because he was there, she says, and we all flinch at how honest and ugly that is. I want to touch my son's arm, to put a barrier between his heart and the air. I do not. I stand with my hands at my sides because some comforts are selfish. I don't know what happens next, I say, and there is mercy, sometimes, in naming the whole. Megan looks at me, not as enemy or ally, but as an adult who might know how to pick up a glass without slicing her hand open. He needs to eat at 6, she says, and it is so human and so small I have to sit for a second. We'll figure logistics tomorrow, I say. Tonight, the only job is not drowning. Ryan stares at the TV on mute, a coach shouting soundlessly. He reaches into his pocket and sets his phone on the table like he's putting down a weapon. He twists his wedding band slowly, a habit he's had since he was 23 and nervous. Then he slides it off and sets it beside the phone with a soft clink that makes the room twitch. Don't, Megan says, half standing, half sob. Please. He looks at her the way a person looks at a house after the fire, recognizing the outline and none of the rooms. I have to breathe, he says. He picks up his keys. The metal jingles. The sound is cruelly domestic. The sky outside is a living bruise. Thunder counts the seconds between lightning and consequence. Where will you go? I ask, because I am still his mother and some habits are bones. I don't know, he says. He kisses the top of my head, the way he did when he was 8 and thought it was funny, the way he did last week in a kitchen with a bill on the counter. His mouth tastes like mint and storm. I'll text you. He steps toward the door. Megan reaches for him and stops halfway, fingertips trembling in air. Ryan, she says, and it breaks me that she says it like a prayer no one taught her. He turns the knob. Heat presses in. The rain begins with the soft confidence of a certainty that has been waiting. He looks back once, then once more, like a man memorizing a room he has built and is leaving. The door closes on the sound of water. The wind chime clatters a warning. In the quiet after, I hear the refrigerator hum and the tiny tick of the cooling TV and my own pulse like a drum under my tongue. Megan covers her face and sobs without sound. My phone lights where it lies, unknown number, an unfamiliar city code, and vibrates itself to the edge of the table as if trying to fling the news into my hands. I answer on the third ring because the first two feel like a dare. Mrs. Harrington? The voice is smooth to a shine, the way a river rounds a stone. This is Caroline with Meridian Recovery Services calling about an outstanding medical balance. Megan is still on my couch, shoulders hitching, mascara pooling under her eyes like bruises she borrowed. The TV screen is black, in it I can see the room doubled, the beach print rug, the folder, my hand white on the phone. I'm recording this call, I say, and I am. The little red line crawls across my screen. That is your right, Caroline says brightly. We show a balance of $28,000. I'm not authorizing payment, I say. My voice has a new edge I don't recognize and don't hate. Send validation in writing. No further calls to this number. There's a beat where the script stumbles. Ma'am, failure to. In writing, I repeat and end the call. My thumb shakes, but the rest of me doesn't. The fan ticks, the AC exhales, rain licks the windows. Megan lowers her hands from her face and stares like I've performed a trick. You're not paying it? No, my mouth is dry, my back is wet with sweat. I'll buy formula. I'll buy diapers. I will not fund a lie. Her laugh is a single broken note. I don't know how to do this, she whispers. Me either, I say, and the honesty sits between us like a small animal that might come closer if we both stay still. When she leaves, eyes swollen, hair damp in strings, keys clenched, I close the door and lean my forehead against the cool paint. The wind chime clicks like teeth. Somewhere out on the bay, lightning does its work beyond my sightline. I go to the sink, wash my hands until the water runs hot, and watch the mascara rings ribbon down the drain. Morning is raw and bright. A text from Ryan, safe. Then, I'm getting an apartment. Then, can you come by storage at 10? No punctuation at the end of the last one, like he ran out of breath. The storage facility smells like cardboard and dust and that particular metal tang of roll-up doors. Ryan's unit yawns open like a mouth. Inside, a couch wrapped in plastic, a box labeled kitchen, keep, a golf bag that looks suddenly juvenile. He's pale in the fluorescent light, he looks like a photo someone accidentally underexposed. Mom, he says, like he remembers how that word fits. I brought sandwiches, I say, because even at the edge of a life you need to eat. Turkey, mustard, the lettuce already less crisp than it was at home. I hand him a bottle of water, the plastic crackles in his grip. We haul boxes in the heat, sweat sliding down our backs, cardboard biting our forearms. He grunts, I grunt, a metal dolly wobbles on a pothole and rattles like a trash can band. I want to ask 10,000 questions and ask none. We take a break, sink cross-legged onto the concrete. The sandwich is bland and perfect. He picks at the crust. It's like I rented a movie, he says, eyes on his shoes. And halfway through I realized somebody swapped the reels. We keep watching. I bump his shoulder with mine. Or we turn it off. He nods. For a second he is 8 again, bent over a Lego kit, furious at the instructions. For a second he is 32, trying to thread a needle with hands that shake. I'm not paying that bill, he says. I know, I say. I thought you'd tell me to, he says. I would have, I say. Before last night. He looks at me, really looks, and something unclenches in his face I hadn't noticed was clenched. He leans his head on my shoulder the way he did in line at Disney when he was too old to admit his feet hurt. I don't know how to be anything but the guy who fixes it. Try being the guy who breathes, I say. Just for a week. At the bank, the air conditioning is fierce, the carpet too soft, the pens tethered with little black chains. The manager's nameplate says T. Navarro. He asks about my day like we're neighbors. I slide a form across the desk and say the words out loud, tasting each one. I want to open a 529 for my grandson. Limited access. I fund it. No withdrawals without my signature. Grandparents do this all the time, he says. His tie is a sober blue. His hands are gentle on the paper, like a doctor with a bruise. He prints, I sign, he prints, I sign. My pen leaves a slight indentation. I picture a future hand reaching into the shape mine makes and finding a door. On the way out, I stand in the glacial blast of the lobby and text Megan, "It's for him, not for you," with a picture of the confirmation page before I can talk myself out of it. She doesn't reply. That's all right. Sometimes an answer ruins the truth. At the library, the community room smells like paper and coffee. A circle of metal chairs. A bulletin board with flyers for yoga, voter registration, grief. We go around by first name. When it's my turn, I don't say betrayal or paternity or the 28,000 ways a heart can bruise. I say, I am learning not to pay for everyone else's pain and pour creamer into bad coffee until it looks like the bay in winter. A woman with a floral scarf nods so hard her earrings swing. Me too, she says. A man in a polo blinks back water and smiles like it hurts. We pass a box of Kleenex like an offering plate. I go home and make sauce that simmers all afternoon, the kitchen smelling like garlic and safety. I chop onions so fine they surrender. I roll meatballs small enough for a tiny mouth someday. Patty stops in with basil from her garden. We stand shoulder to shoulder, leafing it over steam, not speaking. The TV murmurs the weather, storm chances decreasing, and I feel, for the first time in what could be a month or an hour, my shoulders lower. Every other day for a week, Megan texts logistics. He ate at 5. He'll nap after. Could you have size 1 diapers? I'm late. We meet in driveways and parking lots, a quiet choreography. The baby blinks at me from the crook of my elbow like I am a planet passing. His breath smells like something sweet and invisible. He has a crease by his ear, I kiss it like a superstition. Kyle does not appear. Once, handing him back, Megan's hand brushes mine and her eyes flick up. They are ringed in exhaustion. You were right, she says to the air between us. About bleeding. I was a little right, I say. You were a lot brave. She shakes her head. No. I was a lot late. She laughs then, surprised, like a person hearing her own voice through glass. She buckles him in, checks the straps while her mouth counts even though no sound comes. The overdue notices keep coming, escalating fonts, red bars like the sirens on shows where men carry strangers on stretchers. I stand over the shredder and feed it one at a time, the motor chewing, the paper spitting into ribbons that spring and curl. I save one, the first, for a folder labeled lessons because some pain deserves a file. One afternoon, I carry a grocery bag of knitted caps to the hospital. The volunteer office smells like soap and beige. A young woman at the desk says, "Oh, these are gorgeous," and I believe her. On the way out, a new father walks past me cradling an infant like a bomb. His eyes are wet. His mouth is open. He is chanting, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay," to the baby or himself or both. At home, I move the mobile with felt turtles from the spare room to the corner of the living room where the light is kindest at 4. I clip it to a chair. When the AC kicks on, they spin slow and steady, small green planets in their private orbit. Ryan sends me a picture of his new place, one room, a window with a crooked blind, a plant trying to spite everything. He texts, therapy at 2, and then, I went, and then, I will go again. I type, proud of you, and add nothing else because the rest would be for me. I do not forget the wristband. Sometimes I open the drawer and touch the slick plastic in the inked name that isn't mine and sit with the ache the way you sit on a porch and watch a storm you know won't reach you. It still makes the air smell like metal. On a Thursday that tastes like lemon and dust, an envelope arrives with a logo I know too well. Final notice, it shouts. The paper is stiff, the window squared. I hold it over the trash, then pause. I slide a thin metal letter opener under the flap and slice. Inside, a payment plan offer accompanied by a threat in smaller font. My heart doesn't kick. My hands don't shake. I slip it into the shredder and watch it turn into confetti that refuses to celebrate. The doorbell rings. I wipe my hands on a dish towel and open the door onto early evening, the sky the pink of a bruise almost healed. Ryan stands there with the baby, no car seat this time, just a body and arms. His shirt is wrinkled, his eyes awake. He smells like soap and sawdust. He looks like someone who has been to the bottom of a pool and pushed off it. Hi, he says, as if we are meeting at a potluck and need to keep our voices polite. Hi, I say, because I am learning to let the small words hold us. He shifts the baby, kisses the soft hair without thinking. Do you, he stops, throat working. Do you want to hold your grandson? The word opens inside me like a room I thought the house didn't have. I take him, and he fills the cradle of my arm like a promise I can keep. He hiccups, surprised at his own body. His fingers curl around mine with an authority that is almost comical. We sit on the couch. The beach print rug is just a rug again. The wind chime clinks once like a punctuation, gentle. Ryan talks in short sentences, lawyer, custody schedule, boundaries, words that would have terrified him last month and now sound like planks in a bridge. The baby yawns, a flower opening in reverse. Ryan watches my face the way you watch someone tasting something you cooked. Megan texts, thank you. I put the phone face down and stay where I am. I can feel the past week in my bones, in the way my shoulders drop, in the strange quiet in my chest that isn't emptiness but space. Space is a luxury. Space is a choice. On the table, the mail sits like a tame animal. No one is knocking. No one is asking for what I haven't already offered. Ryan rubs his thumb over the baby's soft foot and smiles like it's the first smile, which in this new version of our life, it might be. Mom, he says. Yes? He takes a breath like a diver standing on a board. Tomorrow, could you come with me to the pediatrician? I don't have to fix anything. He shrugs, shy suddenly. I want you there. The turtles turn in the air conditioner's soft breath, and the room smells like laundry and tomato sauce and the tiniest ghost of rain. Of course, I say. My phone buzzes once on the table, a new number with no name. I let it hum, watch the baby's eyelids tremble, feel his warm weight settle. The call goes to voicemail. The wind chime breathes. Somewhere beyond the house, thunder speaks in the far distance like a story somebody else is telling, and the baby, my grandson, opens his mouth, lets out a small, surprised sound, and holds on.